Hi guys, so this essay will serve as your essay 2, this video will serve as your essay 2 prompt video. So what I've done is I've gone ahead and opened the prompt, and so we can go ahead and get started right here. Please watch this whole video in its entirety because it will talk about, of course, the essay prompt, the rubric, the outline, the works cited, some of the readings from this unit, as well as some of the discussion board assignments. So please do watch this whole video. All right. So what I've done actually is I've opened, you'll notice two prompts here. Okay. So Cuyamaca, you guys are on the left, and Saddleback, you guys are on the right. Okay. The prompts are actually identical. The only difference is the deadlines because Cuyamaca, you guys started a couple weeks after the Saddleback semester did. So after the deadlines, essentially this video will remain the same for both campuses. Okay, so Cuyamaca, your Humans of New York minor and the other Westmore discussion board are due March 4th. Thuraya Takaki, the other Westmore responses are due March 11th. The TOWM 7 and 8 discussion board is due the 18th, rough draft the 25th, and the final draft due the 8th. Notice there is a 2-week gap here because there is spring break in between. Okay, so real quick for Saddleback, your Humans of New York is due the 18th of February. The Raya Takaki TOWM is due the 25th of February. TOWM 7 and 8, Sunday the 4th of March, rough drafts March 11th. And the final draft due March 18th. And then for you guys, I believe your spring break starts after the 18th, okay? So everything else, like I said in this video, will now be the same. So just note, again, Cuyamaca on the left, Saddleback on the right. So I'm just going to go ahead and close this one and scroll down, and then now we'll just go with the prompt, okay? So this unit, we will be looking at cultural expectations, traditions, and stereotypes. We will complete our novel, The Other Westmore, which discusses two men named Westmore who had similar childhood experiences and then went on vastly different paths in their lives. So we will finish the novel for this unit. Please keep in mind you should by now have read the first few chapters and taken those quizzes. So we will be finishing the last chapters and completing some discussion boards this unit. Horace Minor forces us to look at the Nasarima through an Americanized ethnocentric lens. The Humans of New York project asks us to look at refugee stories and challenge potential preconceived notions we may have about the intentions of refugees. Raya's It's Hard Enough Being Me pleads with readers to understand the many differences among Latinas and how she has experienced an identity crisis, struggling between her identity as a Mexican and an American. Last, Ronald Takaki's The Harmful Myths of Asian Superiority argues that the model minority image homogenizes Asian Americans, which means puts all Asian Americans in the same category, and hides their difference, as well as exacerbates relations between them and African Americans. So, we will be reading all 5 of these texts. Keep in mind, again, we've already started the book, and then the other 4 articles will be used as supplemental text for the prompt on the novel. So here's your assignment. For this paper, answer one of the following questions in 4 to 6 pages. It should be double-spaced in MLA. Be sure to use quotations from The Other Westmore in proper format. Okay, here is your citation format. That's actually the proper citation format for every single text from this class. It's always the author's last name and the page number. Notice no comma, no PG, no P, no word page, no number sign, and then the quote. Here, this is the text of the quotation, the evidence that you want to pull from the book. This goes in quotation marks here, and that is proper quotation format. So please note this. I will be taking off points if they're not properly formatted because I have given it to you right here. So answer your chosen question in a succinct thesis, which will go at the end of your first paragraph, and support your thesis with clearly organized paragraphs which include examples from the novel. Additionally, use at least 2 of our unit readings, so that's Minor, Humans of New York, Raya, and Takaki, to supplement your interpretation and analysis of the novel in your chosen question. The in-class readings will help you to provide evidence for specific claims you make in your body paragraphs about the novel. So There's 6 options here. You're going to choose one of these 6 options. All 6 options are about the novel, The Other Westmore. You choose your question, you create a thesis, and then within your paper, within your argument, you're going to use quotes from the novel and 2 of our class readings to supplement your analysis of the question that you've chosen. Okay, so here are the 6 options. Discuss the similarities and differences in the 2 boys' mothering styles. Question to answer in the thesis statement here. How might the boys' mothers influence their behaviors and their futures? So this is really the question that you should have an answer to in the thesis statement that's going at the end of your introduction. And then the rest of the paper will, of course, answer this question. The Other Westmore started in the drug game at 11 years old. So here's your question to answer here. What kept our author off the streets? Okay. Chapter 5 is titled Lost. In this chapter specifically, our author details his experiences at military school, and the Other Westmore gets arrested for attempting to shoot Ray. So, in what ways are the boys lost in chapters 5 through 8 of this book? When do the boys show signs that they are not lost? Okay. How might the family structure have affected the boys' success? Consider both boys' sets of grandparents and parents. Number 5. What do you think the most significant factor was in both boys going in separate paths in life? In other words, why do you think the Other West ended up in prison while the author ended up a Rhodes Scholar? And the last one is create your own prompt. Feel free to create your own question and discuss something you are most invested in for the Other Westmore. If you choose this option, email me for approval by March 18th. Saddleback, you guys are a slightly different date for that, so let me pull that up. So Saddleback, if you guys choose option 6, I'm asking that you email me by March 4th for approval, so I can make sure you have a solid foundation. So Saddleback, March 4th, which is the same day as the last discussion board for this unit. And then Cuyamaca, you guys are March 18th if you want to do this option. Again, that's the same day as the last discussion board for the unit, okay? So do keep that date in mind as well. And then lastly on the prompt here, it just kind of says tips for successful essays. This one should be 4 to 6 pages. It should be MLA with a works cited page. The works cited page cannot be page 4. It will be at minimum page 5. Creative title, concrete evidence from at least 3 sources, properly cited and integrated. A clear focus and a well-written thesis statement, organizing principle, intro, body, conclusion, fully developed analysis of how the evidence supports each topic sentence and overall thesis statement, and successfully includes discussion from our in-class readings in an insightful and thoughtful way. These are the most 2 important elements of your grade for this assignment, okay? Implements proper stylistic conventions to include sentence variation, college-level vocab, target audience, and complex sentence structure, and an effective structure that carefully guides the reader from one idea to the next and be thoroughly edited so that sentences are readable and appropriate for an academic audience. Write the paper as if addressing a scholarly audience. Okay. So that is basically the prompt for Essay 2. Again, you're going to choose one of these questions about the novel and then back up whatever you are arguing with evidence from the Other Westmore and at least 2 of our in-class readings, which again are the Nasarima from minor, Humans of New York, Raya, or Takaki. You need 2 of those, okay? So we can move to Canvas now. Okay, so if we look at the modules, let's go to, I'm in the Saddleback one, but so Module 5 for both CAT classes is where you will find the Essay 2 materials, Module 5, okay? So we just went over the prompt, okay? The prompt video is right there, and then there's an argumentative essay outline, okay? This will be basically your outline template for the rest of the semester. So I've already given you the MLA format. All you have to do is click on it and fill your outline in. I'm not collecting the outline in class, but I do recommend it. Once you fill in your outline, you can kind of see what paragraphs are strong, what paragraphs need more evidence, things like that. So here you want to contextualize cultural expectations, stereotypes, ethnocentrism, any topic that you're going to discuss in the body of the essay. So here it could be you know, the two Wes's mothers, if you're doing that topic, or if you're doing the success rate, right? That's the topic you would want to contextualize. Then your thesis statement goes at the end of the intro. The topic sentence will be, all the topic sentences will be reasons to support your thesis. And then within each body paragraph, you need evidence from the text or texts and explanation of how the evidence supports your topic sentence and thesis. This is a generic structure for all argumentative essays. And then you just repeat the structure depending on how many paragraphs you have. And then the conclusion will always be the significance of your argument. This is really important. You always want to write the significance of your argument. Never, in my class at least, should you write a conclusion that summarizes your essay. Okay, I just read your essay. It's not long enough to warrant a paragraph for summarizing it. For conclusions for my class, it's the significance. Why should I care about your argument? Why should other readers care about your argument? How is it relevant today? Okay, those are some questions that you would want to answer in your conclusion. So I can kind of show you here just really briefly. Okay, here we go. I've opened the outline. So in your conclusion, it should really be okay. So I've typed those three questions there. What is the significance of your argument? Why should the argument be why should the audience be invested in your argument, and how is your argument relevant today? Those are some questions you can consider when writing your conclusion. So that is basically the outline. Okay. If we go back to our module, again, still in Module 5 for both classes, there is also a rubric. So you can see what I'm looking for here: the thesis, organization, development, style, mechanics, grammar, MLA, and your intro and conclusion. So you can look at that. That was the rubric. Embedding quotes and more. This document is going to be really helpful for you guys for the whole semester. So I've included it in every module. The most important thing is right here on the first page. This document is showing you how to integrate quotes. So notice on the prompt, let's see, on the prompt, you need to properly cite and integrate your quotes, said right here. So when I say integrate, this is what I'm talking about. Embedding, same thing, okay? So notice here, Charles Dickens wrote during the 18th century, comma, that's a comma splice. This is a full sentence right here. This is another full sentence here. It's only separated by a comma. That is a comma splice. So you want to integrate it. For Charles Dickens, the 18th century was both, quote, the best of times and, quote, the worst of times. When you read it out loud, except for the word quote, you cannot tell that there's a quote in the sentence. That is when a quote is properly integrated. So number 2 here, the Puritan community admired Arthur Dimmesdale. He was the mouthpiece of heaven's message of wisdom. Notice the quote is just hanging out here as its own sentence. This is not integrated. So we can change this. The Puritans admired Dimmesdale because he is, quote, the mouthpiece for heaven's messages of wisdom. Notice that the student decided to change part of the quote and add this little word here. All you have to do when you do that is put whatever you add or change in brackets. But this is perfectly integrated or embedded. And notice here too, this student has perfectly cited their quotes as well, last name and page number. So there's more examples you can kind of go through, and then you can go through the rest of this document. It shows you how to do a block quote, how to do in-text citations, the works cited. So there's lots of good things in this document. So I'll let you guys kind of look that over. And then lastly, I have given you the works cited for this essay. So all you have to do, here's Miner, Moore, Raya, Stanton, and Takaki. All you have to do is copy and paste the sources that you're going to use for this essay. Okay. So moving on, that is basically all the resources for the essay. I have given you here in Module 5 the reading for Miner's Body Ritual Among the Nasarima. You open it and read it. And then the Humans of New York website, You just have to click here and it takes you to the website. So the first discussion board assignment, if you remember, is on minor, this Humans of New York website, and the first part of the reading for the other Westmore. Okay, so here is the discussion board. So I'm asking you to format your discussion board response in this way. You know, give minor and Nasarima a header, and then number your responses from 1 to 8. Then Humans of New York, story number 1, story number 2, then the other Westmore, first question you choose, and the second question. So your discussion board should look like this. And then what you're going to do is answer the 8 questions from minor, follow the instructions for story 1 and story 2 for the Humans of New York, and then you're going to choose 2 out of these 5 questions from the other Westmore and write a paragraph on each one. Okay, and then you'll respond to your peers. So that is the Humans of New York minor and the other Westmore discussion board in Module 5. And then after that, modules. After that, in Module 6, kind of follow the same process. Okay, there's a Raya Takaki and the other Westmore Chapter 6 discussion board. Again, it should be formatted exactly the same way as listed right here. Okay, so I'll let you kind of look at that. Module 7, we're doing the, I don't think it's in there, but we are doing the Town Chapter 7 and 8 discussion. So that will be in your module right now after this video is over. And then Module 8 will be your rough draft, as noted right here. Module 9 will be your submission of your essay. Okay, so this should be the same for both of the classes. And if you have any questions on Unit 2 or anything about Essay 2, please email me.